Alright, so for my next review, I'm going to be doing the Golden Age Starman. Ted Knight Starman first appears in Adventure Comics number 61 in 1941. While not being too generic, just this nice, almost realistic kind of sculpt. And a very nice paint job. The nice yellow star. Very 30s with the kind of Buck Rogers fin helmet, which I like. It gives him a little bit of a pulp feel to him. He does have one accessory, and that's what it is first called. And you might notice that it is translucent plastic with an LED in there. That's because there is a gimmick. A light up gimmick. Unfortunately, the batteries have run out on poor Starman, so there will be no lighting of the gravity rod. It does work, trust me. He's even got a little holder for his gravity rod. It doesn't really fit in there, but it's nice that they put that on the figure. Anyway. Come back here to his cape, very nicely molded. He even got a nice star back there. And his cape will just pull off. It's a pretty stiff plastic. It does tend to make the figure a little bit back heavy. And you can see where the battery goes. As for articulation, his head goes side to side. And this arm, because of the gimmick, only really goes up and down. And this arm, however, does go in and out. It has a slight rotation, as well as it does go all the way around. It does bend at the elbow. His legs do go forward and back. He does not bend at the knee, but he does bend at the ankles. Now, you can put him in a very nice flying pose. Now, one thing is both good and bad is that you notice his head is kind of tilted to the side here. And while that makes it pretty dynamic when he's looking to this one side, anywhere else he just looks a little bit goofy. So I pretty much keep him posed like that. His ankles, along with his cape, make him very prone to falling backwards. Alternatively, when you try and balance him out, he's got this really weird leaning forward like stance. Gotta play with him a little bit to find a sweet spot. Like there, it's pretty good. But yeah, so those are the little minor quips with the figure. But the light up feature is really cool and kind of makes up for the lack of posability and the little tricky balancing act that you have to do with the cape and the ankles. Well, Theodore Knight, Ted for short, was an astronomer and physicist who I think he had some inherited a lot of money, and he used that money pretty wisely. He was kind of a playboy for a little bit, but well, I guess you'd say he's more like an eligible bachelor type person. But he eventually decides to use some of that money to create a new power source. Yes, he was into alternative energy, and so he creates this device called the gravity rod. So he's got this device that is able to manipulate energy and light. Coincidentally, his cousin, Sandra Knight, who just recently had come into possession of another unique device, convinces him to become one of these new mystery men, like she's going to do with this new device. And of course, she becomes the very scantily clad Phantom Lady. Nice connection there. He says, that might not be a bad idea. And he comes up with the Starman identity. Eventually makes a pretty big name for himself. Joins the JSA, as most of the superheroes did at that time. And it's not until after the war, World War II, that things go a little bit pear-shaped for him. He, being a physicist, is one of the scientists that is consulted on the Manhattan Project, which is the development of the atom bomb. And he has a lot of guilt over helping to create such a destructive weapon. His longtime girlfriend and soon-to-be fiancée is murdered. That pretty big blow. And then right after that, the House Un-American Activity Committee starts to investigate the JSA. So rather than submit to revealing their identities to the government, they decide to retire. And because of all those things, he actually has a mental breakdown and spends a fair amount of time over the next couple of years in a mental hospital. Ted has also been exposed to some age retarding things. It's very mysterious. It's the way they explain why they're still so young. He then meets another woman and falls in love again and marries her, and that's Adelaide Doris Drew. It's at this time that he has a brief affair with the original Black Canary. They both say, because both of them are actually married, they decide that they're going to be faithful, so they break off the affair. Ted goes on to father two sons, David and Jack, who would actually both become Starman later. He becomes activist Starman when Extant is trying to restructure time during the 0 Hour event. Extant actually undoes a lot of the... Ted is really lucky, whereas that's when his oldest son David takes over. And then tragically David dies and Jack has to take over the Starman legacy very reluctantly, which is a great series written by James Robinson. And towards the end of that series, he gets cancer because he is forced to fight the old Batman villain, Dr. Phosphorus. Then later on, at the very end of the series, he dies sacrificing himself to protect his city, Opal City, that he's lived in for all these years. If you haven't checked out that Starman series, that's a real great comic. One of the best comic book series ever, really. All but a few issues have been reprinted in trade, and they now have these great big omnibuses. So, yeah, I recommend it very much. So long until my next review. See ya.